greatly appreciate all that has been said today. And it appears, Mr. Chairman, that we have to identify our legitimate real farmers' bona fides. So I'm proud to tell you that I know what well water tastes like. I know what G and haw sound like. I know what chitlins taste like. I know what a smokehouse smells like. I know what living on a farm where you have no running water as we know it today is like. I grew up on a farm in my early childhood, and I would have you know that I have great appreciation for Mr. Schultz and what he's having to contend with. And to this end, I have a statement dated September 12, 2023. It's from Reuters, and Mr. Gensler was appearing before Congress, and here's what Mr. Gensler said. It is not the Commission's intent to have farmers or ranchers in Montana or any other state report on goods they sell to publicly traded companies. SEC Chair Gary Gensler said in response to questions from Democratic Senator Tester of Montana. So I want you to know that this is still in its infancy, it's metamorphosing, and it has not been finalized. So there's still much to be said, much to be done, and you have quite a few advocates who would not want to see Walmart pass on its cost to you. I think that this is something that you can be assured people are going to work hard to prevent. Moving on to my next topic rather quickly, but while I'm doing that, Mr. Georgiev, would you comment on my comments, please?
Yeah, so I think your comments are very apt. I think it's important to underscore the fact that what the SEC is doing here is making sure that companies provide investors with relevant information rather than seeking to regulate climate change. And so this benefits all sorts of investors who are agnostic about the effects of climate change, as well as investors who are very concerned about the effects of climate change. Because if investors who are agnostic, if they're contrarian and want to invest only in companies that don't believe in climate change, they will get that information through the SEC disclosure rule. So it helps all sorts of investors regardless of their beliefs. And that is the beauty of this rule, and that is why the SEC is on solid footing in promulgating this rule.
Thank you very much. Moving on to industry experts giving some guidance. This is not novel. When the oil and gas disclosures were codified, industry experts were used. So this is something that we've done before, and there's no reason why we can't do it again. Again, Mr. Georgiev, would you comment on my comments?
That is absolutely right. The SEC is a disclosure agency, and it, in all cases, has relied on the expertise of technical bodies to come up with the right disclosure requirements. So what it is doing here with the TCFD is not at all unprecedented. We had a similar process with the oil and gas disclosure rules, first adopted in the 1970s, revised in 2009, as you point out. We've had the same process in the context of executive compensation, very complex matters of asset-backed securities, and so on and so forth. So the technical assistance that the SEC is getting from bodies, which, by the way, include participation by U.S. government officials and supervision by them, is not at all unprecedented.
Finally, it has been said that on one hand, this should be left to the EPA. But then on the other hand, the SEC already has the authority to do it. So why would we leave to the EPA what the SEC has the authority to do? Would you comment on my comments, please, Mr. Georgiev?
Yeah, absolutely. So just because an issue involves climate change, it doesn't mean that only the EPA and NOAA can touch it. All agencies of the federal government have to make allowances for climate change. The Department of Defense, for example, is making allowances for climate change. And so it is not, the EPA is doing it has one particular remit and is doing one sort of regulation. The SEC is doing information regulation for a very specific purpose to benefit investors.
Thank you, sir. I close with, I also know what a hen house egg taste like? I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and I know that